Here we go. Welcome everyone to the Cisco Virtual Kitchen. Yes, we have a legend in the house. Legend. Do you ever get called a legend?
I have a couple times.
You have a couple of times?
Am I getting that old?
I don't know. No, you don't get old. Well, they always say like when you're getting old, it's like wine; it just gets better.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You like
I've used that
Have you
analogy.
used that before?
I have. I said I'm like a good wine. I get better with age.
There you go.
And it's true because you know what? We've had the opportunity to be able to look back. Do you know what I'm saying? Like in this industry, I've been doing this now for 39 years.
39?
39, maybe 41 when you think about like being the dishwasher and all that. But yeah, so I've had the ability to be able to look back where there's a lot of people that have never made it. And I mean, made it as in living, that I can look back and look over all my mistakes and all the stuff that I would like to take back or all the great stuff that has happened. And it's been really cool. Like I've had that opportunity now.
So what's the biggest mistake that you learned from? What was one of them in your career?
Learning not to, in my early career, I was big on I could do it all and not share it with my sous chefs or not share it with.
So you tried to do it all by yourself?
100%. And I learned that you can't. No man's an island. And I know that sign kind of sounds kind of cliche, but no man's an island. And you need a really good team around you or you can't grow. You would be stuck in this little box, and I used to get so frustrated in that. And then all of a sudden when you finally let go and you let other people win and do what they're doing, it's been fantastic. It's been a game changer.
Is that something that you would encourage others?
100%. You need to have.
Well, that was the old way chefs were like, right?
Oh,
back in the day.
Well, you learned that like you had to do it all. Like you would have to have the answer on how to bake, on how to make a souffle, on how to make a creme brulee, on how to carve, on how to do the fish the best. You know what? There's better bakers out there. My executive chef now, Chef Darnell, can cook circles around me. He's, and that's not a bad thing. I think that's what we have to do as an industry. We need to let the other people who do really great things grab them and then push them up to the top.
Yeah. So let's talk about people getting into the industry because you've been doing this long. This is my 33rd year now. I have a lot of advice for people. But what's some of the advice that you would have for people today starting in the industry? That isn't your cliche stuff. Tell me what you like. Don't do this and don't do that.
No, it's not even that. It's learning that. I remember, and I just did a talk on this on chasing your dream, and that I remember when I was a kid being in the dishwasher with soapy hands, looking out and seeing a crowd of people ready to line up for a movie, and I realized at that early age that lifestyle was not for me, and so learning that. This is a great opportunity. This is a great industry. If you're a people pleaser, like you and I are people pleasers, right?
Yeah.
And all of us that get in this industry are, run with that because that's what keeps you going. You're going to have bad times. We all do. You know what I mean? Like you're going to have a bad service one day, or the line's going to do a big hiccup, or you're going to have to pick up the phone or right now and apologize to a customer going, we really screwed that up. You know what I mean? But own it. And all of a sudden you go through it and then you live to another day. You learn that, hey, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to do it a different way, and away you go.
So I want to just shift a little bit here because this is another thing that is new. I wouldn't say new to our industry, but somewhat new to our industry is this whole social storytelling. And we're telling stories before we got on the air about a whole bunch of things that we've kind of experienced for our careers like this. How important is social storytelling today?
I think it's more important than any other time in our industry. We need to tell the great stories.
You do every day. I see it on social all the time. You're telling us, it may be short, long form, cookie, non-cookie, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. You tell a story all the time.
I've always loved a great story. Like in my life, I've loved a great story. But I think more and more we have to tell the great stories because we get bashed a lot as an industry. Anybody can be a food critic now. Years ago, you'd have how many food critics? 3 in Ontario, right? Like the real big ones, okay? Yeah. And then, you get nervous about if they're coming to your restaurant. But now everybody...
Is this still like that, Chef? Sorry, is this still like that?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that
'Cause they
day
used
is
to live on the reviews here.
100%.
What was your review in the news and paper? And all that stuff?
100%. And that's how you would get customers
Yeah,
in the
you would,
door by
yeah.
a positive or God forbid you had a negative review, right? But I think more and more over now, because anybody can be a great, with this thing right here, is anybody can be a great reviewer or so-called great reviewer, and you can't, so now we have to tell the great stories. We're the ones that should be saying, hey, come to this amazing RC show because there's a pizza oven there that cooks pizzas 90 seconds and you can cook 8 of them at the same time. We had somebody come here and give us this butter chicken that was okay, but you can have and you can come and see, this great cheese board.
So there's a story. How much stories are on that thing right there?
1, 2, there's 5 stories on that cheese board. And, that's the other part is that, and then having the Kronenberg beer with it. But that's another story. But that's what we have to be doing. Instead of taking the negative, and we're always, hey, folks, we're always going to have negativity, but let's take the positive of this business. Let's take how many great young chefs are busting their humps to make great food. And that's what we want, right?
Do you think that will continue to grow in our industry?
100, it has to. It really does. And I think as a whole, going through that C word is, there's been a lot of times where we might have had one too many places on one street, if you know what I mean. And I think now when people get in the restaurant business, they're getting in because they should be in it. And I think we're getting out of, everybody thinks when they look at successful people, oh, well, I can do that. No, you can't, And so I think that's over the next little bit. I know this is a long-winded answer, but
It's okay.
I think that's what it's all about.
Now, when you think about, let's talk a little bit about food.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're deep in food. Every day I see you cooking on social or doing something with food. What's the coolest thing that you saw here today? Have you seen everything?
I haven't seen very much.
Yeah.
I haven't. Unfortunately, I kind of went from, I got stuck on the pizza oven.
Not as much plant-based. You notice that?
No.
I haven't noticed that.
Yeah.
Well, there is, but
Yeah.
not like when it first came out.
I don't think the market to plant-based is 8% of the population, if that. And we've been catering for bands since 2011, and that's where it really.
Have you seen that grow?
A little bit, and the only reason why the bands would ask for vegetarian on the road is then it makes the promoter or the caterer come out of their shoes to make a better meal. That
Really?
they can't take the easy road out.
Really?
Like I remember we used to cater for Stuart McLean, the late great storyteller.
Yeah. I
And
just
that-
saw a thing on the Facebook the other day about him.
Yeah, so Jesse Milton, his tour manager, is taking like stories from behind the scenes and
Yeah, that's
and
what
that.
he's doing. He's going
Yeah,
back, right?
Yeah, she's going back and doing that. But I remember the one time we were catering for him, and I made a bolognese for him, like for the band. But I thought he was a vegetarian, so he goes up for a second helping of the bolognese, and I go, Stuart, I thought you were a vegetarian, and the whole sorry, I'll backtrack just a second. His touring company and everybody ate dinner at the same time, like from the guys who did merch, sound crew, musicians, tour manager, everybody ate at the same time. That was really important for him, that they would all be at the table at the same time. So anyway, so go about this, tell the story. And so they're all laughing in the back. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, I'm not a vegetarian. I said, so why did you have so much vegetarian on your menu? Because they would never get great food on the road. And so this was part of the way that they would make people think and go from there. So, but I think to answer your plant-based, is there's such a small part of the population, and there's so many great farms that are happening out there. Like, think of all the new not new, but we're going back to the old way of doing it. Pasture-raised chickens, pasture-raised pork. Like, how important is that?
I know, it's crazy. You've seen it. Then is that full circle?
Mm-hmm.
We're coming back around.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's funny because remember, like that late '80s, we're like in the early '90s. Was don't do this, don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Circling around and coming back. Well, maybe that was okay. It's a
Right?
whole butter fat thing.
Oh, brother. Okay, so I have Harold the egg guy, right? Harold the egg guy brings stuff into my place. And so he goes to me the other day, he goes, you got to try my butter. I said, okay, Harold, what's with your butter? He goes, it's 84% milk fat. No milk solids, just,
Serious?
oh, buddy, I'm going to see if Trish will, I'm going to ask my wife, I'll bring some down for you.
Serious?
It is the best butter you've ever eaten. It is so good. Like it is, and like people will come into the store and they'll order it and they'll take it home and they go, like, is it frozen? No, because there's no extra water in it. It's going to be like, it's going to take a bit for you to grab that butter out.
So what would you say on the butter boards then? Good idea?
Sorry?
The butter boards. Good idea?
Yeah, great idea. That's a great idea. More butter, the better. And then if you do the research in it, there's more nutrients in full fat butter than there is in any other butter. Niacin, vitamin D. And I forget, I did a little bit of research a while ago for when I was on TV, but
All that other stuff was made post World War II.
right,
Margarine,
right.
additives.
Like what the hell is
stuff.
margarine?
Yeah.
Right? And that's what, okay, so I'm going to get into
But
trouble.
that goes back to that.
I'm gonna get in trouble for this.
No, but that stuff, that margarine and stuff, that's we raised on it,
Right.
right? Probably not what we should have been eating.
No, because, and then now they're saying it's plant-based. It's still margarine,
Yeah, it's still
Right?
chemical listed.
100%.
Yeah.
Butter, it's natural. How many ingredients are in butter? 2.
Yeah.
Milk, salt.
Did you see that test? I think it was on TikTok where they took the water
Yeah,
and they put it in water
yeah,
and it should blend, like it should
Yeah.
melt,
yeah,
and then the margarine turned into like a plastic
Yeah.
soluble.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's scary.
It's cool stuff.
So you put in
What
your,
you've been eating.
I know.
So tell us about this cheese.
Okay, so
Let's get back to the cheese. Get ourselves in trouble.
so this is Bothwell cheese. They've been a sponsor of ours now for 6 years. Amazing, out of Manitoba. And so we have some.
Do you know how else is out of Manitoba? Bothwell cheese is Bothwell.
Yeah. Right? Some jalapeno. We have some black truffle, which is my wife's favorite.
My favorite
Smoked Gouda.
too.
We have the
Emily, get in here.
spicy.
Get in here. So
Emily,
Emily, you're the boss. You can do anything.
Yeah, right there.
Get the truffle. Get the truffle. Get the truffle.
Right?
Have you tried the truffle?
Have you tried the new spicy dill?
No.
Have you tried the, here, sorry, here, my fingers are clean.
Are we trying it on camera?
Yeah. You're about to eat that on air.
You're welcome. I'm here. I'm a food pusher. I know I
You
am.
gotta push food, man.
Mhm.
So that's out of Manitoba.
Out of Manitoba.
Make it all there.
I'll make it all there. And then
This is like worldwide, right?
100%. So the other thing too is we've been doing, as you know, kind of going through that sea, is the first year of going through COVID, I needed a win. Like I really needed a win. So we did Fired Up, which is an outdoor wood fire pizza oven.
I saw that.
Right? So we did the Bothwell 28% milk fat mozzarella. Every time like a pizza came out, you smelled the cheese,
Yeah.
baked cheese wafting. You just wanted to have pizza, And so that's kind of where we just love it. And they've been great to us.
So what do people use this cheese mostly for then? Is it
I'm
for
doing the charcuterie
boards?
type.
Do they put them on burgers?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
buddy. Because they have the whole slice line, they have a whole shred line, and
Do
that.
you
So
shred too?
oh yeah, yep. They have it all. And again, they're just getting
Why
into.
wouldn't a restaurant use something like this? So I want to talk about this because I want to lead into this. We can talk all day.
Okay.
Is that well? I love this stuff. So why, if I'm a restaurateur
Yep.
in Canada, Canadian product, Manitoba product, comes in all the different ways you need it. Would that increase the value of your menu?
150% it would.
Why do people not do that? As much
Because
as
they get
should?
caught up in the dollars and cents versus the quality
Yeah.
of the ingredients. You are what you eat, and you are what you show. And
Is it still like? Is that ever going to go away?
no,
Is it getting
I think
worse? Is it
it's
going the other way?
going the other way. Like people, it's especially now because food costs have gone up so much. Labor has you can argue till you're blue in the face. Is that labor has gone up, so all you're trying to save money. Well, no, people are going to come to your place, your establishment, because and when they can trust you, they know that they're going to get the best burger ever. They're going to get the best pizza ever. And I live in a glass house, so I know that we're not the best every day. But for 95% of the time, we are the best. you know, and we do not cut corners. We do not, so yes, you're going to pay a little bit extra to have my food, but you know what? I can guarantee you that it's the best ingredients that we can find. And I wish more people would do that. And I think
Here's
the
the thing. I want to share because
yeah, sorry.
no. I want to talk about this because I want your thought on this too. So I love all this. And it might be the beer, the coffee. Yeah, but I want to. So there's a I won't say who it is, but there's a chain restaurant out there that sells the top menu item on their menu is $10. Okay, they range from 5 to 10. Nightclub kind of place. They have brought in generated income in other streams to keep those prices low. They can write a textbook on this. It's brilliant. Have those prices up there. I believe after working with thousands of restaurants over my career, that there's more opportunity than just bumping your menu to generate other income in there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's a good method, or do you think we're going to have to we're going to hit a ceiling on prices on the menu that equal the value that you're getting? Unless we're going to ask for royalty, service. Do you think that will change, or do you think that will soften? I don't see menu prices coming down.
That's a real hard question. Thank you for asking that question, because now I have to really think. I think there's a ceiling, yes, but maybe there's different portions. There's different ways of eating. You know what I mean? Maybe it's more of a tapas style we go back to instead of, being influenced by bigger is always better. And I think that, you and I are in the same vintage bracket. And I think, years ago, remember when we first used to go down the States and everybody came back, oh, the portions are so big or so huge. And then we had to have big portions up here. Well, maybe it's time to go back and say, that's not how you're supposed to eat. If you go to you go to Europe, you don't get big portions like that, right? And maybe that's where it changes, is that we become...
Okay, that leads me to finish your thing. I got to lead to another question.
No, it's 100%.
I was just going to say, okay, North American society, we have made kitchens smaller in apartments.
Yep.
We've got less cooking. We're dining out. Prices go up now.
Yeah.
People want to dine at home. Do you think that's going to offset that? Because in Europe, I think it's more of a not as a feeding the trough, as a daily, I got to get my food that way through eating out, but more experience based. Do you see Canada moving that way?
I think so. I think
So
we will.
less dining out.
I
Cook at
think,
home.
and I'm seeing it right now in how we've changed our way. Like when we opened 184 Main, we have quote unquote cold takeout. So we do soup, sauces, and we do entrees. You take them home, you reheat them, and people aren't balking at that. They're really doing that, and I think that's another opportunity as a restaurateur, is that maybe people don't always come to sit at your table, but they take your food back to their table.
Really?
Yep. That's my thought.
I think we're going to see more. It's pretty cool. I think we're going to see the experience thing come back to that whole circle thing. It's going to be back like the 80s. The chefs coming out of the kitchen, cooking at the tables again. Well, did you see that article lately on chefs' tables coming back?
Yeah, and that's what we saw. Like, if you put the truth serum into,
is that what you're doing then? Like
we do that. We've done that. We go to people's homes, and it's funny because I just did a dinner last week for a lady who turned 65, and she would not have ever afforded to go to a fancy restaurant and speak with the chef, but she wanted something that was really different, and she dreamed about it, and she worked with our team, came up with a menu, we executed the menu, that type of thing. And when I left, she goes, "That's everything I dreamt about," And I think that's where I think all of us are going. And as I said earlier, instead of coming to my table, I'm going to go to your table. And if you ask the 4 chefs that I have working with me, what's their favorite thing to do, and they'll say the chef dinner's in a person's house, because it's at our time. Like, you're talking stories, you're sharing your passion, and it's like in 2 hours, you're done, you're washed up, and you're out. You're not worrying about that chip machine, or you're not worrying about the reservation not showing up.
That's what this article is about, that the chef, he was doing, well, they called it, I think it was like new take on the chef's table, but it was like set menus. I think it was 10 people they do a night. Pre-table, the pre-dollar, then you pay on top for your booze. It's like $1, like I think it was $1.50 a meal. 4 or 5 courses, and then you got your booze on top of it. Plus, he explained everything with them. So he served you. They ran and they had one server, one sommelier on,
Yep.
and then him, and then 2 chefs total with himself, server, sommelier, 4 people, 150. 5, I think it was they've been 20. I want to say it was pretty good size.
Yeah.
Pretty set. So you paid before you came. So if you left, man, I don't care. It's more money for me. Rick's not cooking that much. You know how much you're going to cook that night. Food
100%.
cost is bang on.
And I've said that
I
many
love it.
times.
I read
Is our
it.
next is our because the other thing too is with the cost of building a restaurant is ridiculous, right? So you build a small place, you need a 4-burner stove, you don't, and
So these places are doing.
right, and so you have one dishwasher. I can cook for 10 people, right? You have a second person on because 20 people. You need an extra pair of hands with plates, but away you go. You do 5 courses, and you're not getting stressed. You're going to have people that want to come into the industry and be in the industry for a longer period of time, right?
Well, let's end it there because we can talk as much as we want. I'm going to keep going because that's a good point to put it. But
Yeah.
first, I just want to thank you, Chef D, for jumping on our network and being a part of it. And then we're going to do a lot with you coming up in season 4.
Yeah.
You're going to see a lot of Chef D on the SEK network. Thank you so much for what you do.
Well, first of all, I think you're the hardest working man in the food business, and thanks for having me on. And I know you hear that a lot, but I truly was so looking forward to being here today.
Well,
And
thank you.
and let's do this again real soon. Okay?
Absolutely. So everyone else, we're back tomorrow at the Restaurants Canada show. That's Chef D right there. Say hi. There you go. He's going to see in the big screen. Thanks again, Chef D.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thank you.